really well. You raise the price of water and people use less. And it's really that simple. And we discovered that throughout Colorado and throughout 2002. And the price went up, and a lot of municipalities started doing something called inclining block pricing. So the first little amount you needed for in-house use only, for example, eating, drinking, showering, that kind of thing, was at a fairly low rate. And the next chunk was a little bit more expensive, the next chunk was a little bit more expensive, the next chunk was a little bit more expensive. So if you had your mini mansion, you used a lot of water, you paid a lot. But if you were just trying to use your in-house needs, meet your in-house needs, it was a lot less. So that's one of the things that really spurs conservation. Rebates, there's the rebate program for energy efficient appliances also happen to apply to all those energy efficient washers and dishwashers are also water efficient. So that reduced a lot, and that's been really successful. One of the things that would be important is people to understand where their sources of water are. The majority of us did not grow up in Colorado. We weren't born here. We didn't grow up in a dry climate, but we moved here. And we don't know where our water comes from. Just like most kids think that meat comes from the supermarket, most people think water comes from the tap. And we don't pay a lot of attention to what happens in our own backyard. In Carbondale, we're blessed with some pretty high quality water. But we also have ditches running through our backyards, a lot of us, that allow us to irrigate the lawns that Eric was talking about, that we're all talking about, and keep them very green. You know where that water comes from? It comes from two ditches on the Crystal River. The town ditch and the Rockford ditch. Those ditches take off on the east side of the Crystal, just south of where the 133 bridge crosses. Just south of the Division of Wildlife's fish hatchery. Does anybody know what the Crystal River looks like today? Crystal River has a minimum stream flow, which the state appropriated in 1975, which is considered to be the minimum amount necessary for the health of the ecosystem and the health of the fish. And that minimum stream flow on the river is 80 CFS above Avalanche Creek and 100 CFS below Avalanche Creek. The river right now at below the town ditch and below the Rockford ditch, this evening was running 74 CFS. The river below at Penny Hot Springs, which is where they measure it, was running 67 CFS. So we're all part of the problem. John talked about